Republicans, conservacucks, whatever we want to call them, they're so interesting. They're very funny people, and one of the loudest people out there trying to morally grandstand on the Bud Light controversy. One of the leading voices in the big old boycott was in fact Kid Rock. I did a couple of videos on that. I've never been a fan of the music of Kid Rock. I've always just found him kind of cringe in general, but I've been consistent when it comes to describing that. You can go back and check those old videos in and of themselves, but he's really ingratiated himself into the inner circle of Donald Trump alongside Tucker Carlson, Dana White, Don Jr. That little cabal, I don't know, man, it's kind of coming off as like, the Beatles of MAGA and all that stuff. So I don't necessarily know how Kid Rock got in there, but Donald Trump wanting to get the approval of celebrities is one of his. He does have numerous ills and problems. I'm not blind to that stuff, but that one right there, that's one of his biggest follies for sure. And so, by simple association, people started to take Kid Rock's political takes more seriously. I thought that he ran, or at least he had the inkling of running for Senate in Michigan or something like that, because he's from Detroit, okay? He's always been loud and vocal about that. It's just, I don't really know what his next pivot is, other than just simply being a talking head and doing Hannity a solid. But this is it's a clip from a while back. This would have been, UFC 295? What an eventful event that was, not just for the UFC, but the Bill Burr incident happened there, and we're still talking about it months after the fact. Well, it was kind of a stacked card in and of itself, but this whole clip right here, Kid Rock says he and Trump confronted a Bud Light's CEO at last UFC fight. Why would Bud Light's CEO? Bud Light, it would be Anheuser Busch's CEO, and that would be Brendan Whitworth, right? Speaking of that UFC fight, I'm standing there with our favorite president, and someone comes over. You might have to differentiate that for Sean Hannity, because that would be George W. Bush. The CEO of Anheuser Busch is standing right behind you. So I go to POTUS, and I'm like, hey, that's the CEO of Anheuser Busch. Trump's like, you want to go talk to him? I'm like, I do. So he got me over there. He's like, hey, would you like to meet? Have you ever heard the name Kid Rock before? Kid Rock, great. A lot of great songs. The Bud with the Bog, the Bag, the Bag. It's a very catchy tune. Very catchy tune. I'd like to make your acquaintance. And we actually had a great conversation. I told him that night, I go, you signaled to a lot of people like myself, like-minded people, put the trans thing aside for a minute by sending that can to that trans kid. You kind of signaled to us our support. Oh, you support this lifestyle. And more importantly, men being in women's sports, I don't know where you're extrapolating this on, but okay. Or in my granddaughter's locker room, most of us draw a hard line right there. Leave our kids alone. Yes, exactly. But where's all that vim and vigor now, Kid Rock? Confirms that he's done boycotting Bud Light. See, he had a good talk with the CEO, guys, okay? He's just going to go ahead, he's just going to tacitly admit that, yeah, that was me up there in the balcony a couple of months ago when you caught me red-handed drinking a Bud Light. Okay, I just love the taste after all, god damn it. And it goes down smooth when I have my boyfriend caress the back of my head and force the can in my face. What are you doing, Kid Rock? Come on now. I think they got the message. Remember, guys, it's fine. We're all done now. I got buddy, but I made an acquaintance with the CEO, and now, well, I was helping WWE put over their Bud Light sponsorship, and hell, I'm in good with the UFC, and we got Dana White shelling it hard. Now, to just harken back, when I did a video on that subject, I said that I like the UFC in so much as you can like a professional sports organization. I really like Dana White, what he stands for. It's not really that partnership with Bud Light. Okay, there's going to be a lot of stock in how Dana White has the ability to sell a product if he can, by any means necessary, resuscitate Bud Light's public perception, because Anheuser Busch stock in general, right back up. Okay, good for them. They've rebounded, but public perception is still absolutely in the dumps. So it's just going to take somebody with the charismatic bravado of Dana White in order to turn it around. But at the end of the day, he has a financial incentive to do so. Will it affect the UFC in general? No. Okay, you got sports fans that are just going to go ahead and plug their nose, watch the product, and then when the Bud Light stuff goes on there, roll their eyes so hard they're going to think that they're late-stage Chuck Liddell. But now you have Kid Rock. Now you have Kid Rock after. And that's why I always warn against these super hyperbolic individuals that just want to, hey guys, take a look at how much I'm against certain product. Try to elicit all these emotional responses to you. I always just tell you to just proceed with caution. It was kind of funny. It was kind of cringed. It was also well marketed. He had the MAGA hat on, as you can see, sort of there. Okay, him shooting the cans and, telling Bud Light, you can go fuck yourself. I haven't seen the likes of Travis Tritt, John Rich from Big and Rich. I haven't seen them walk back their distancing from the brand. But, of course, they didn't set up their little props there, take out their gun and go, America first, Donald Trump 2024. Not even against those messages. That's totally fine, man. Shooting stuff, I'm sure that's cool. But for him to be the loudest voice in the room and then one of the first ones to so publicly walk it back, it's interesting. We'll just say that. Time to forgive and forget? Nah, it's just, for as much as people can go ahead and spontaneously, that's the word I was looking for, spontaneously start a boycott for any given issue, it's not so easy to just go ahead and shift public perception like that. The power of celebrity has fallen off so hard in the past few years where that's just not going to be the case anymore. That's what that's what Kid Rock wants Americans to do when it comes to Bud Light. Kid Rock appeared on Tucker Carlson's X show this week, where he confirmed what he has been strongly hinting at for several weeks, that he's finished boycotting Bud Light over the beer's brand marketing partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. The musician said Bud Light deserved a black eye, and they got one for teaming up with Mulvaney, but added that he's over the boycott. So, do I want to hold their head underwater and drown them because they made a mistake? No, I think they got the message. To be fair, okay, as somebody who's never drank nor has the inclinations to ever drink in his entire life, I've been boycotting Bud Light and, well, every other stupid alcohol company in general for 33 years. There have been products, there have been entire industries that I haven't even supported after they pissed me off. And it's not so much that I'm actively detesting their actions anymore. Hell, for some of them, I even forgot why I don't even use the product anymore. It's just, I'm not going to hold their head underwater, nor would I advocate for anybody else to do as much. I'm just saying, if they're drowning and you've got a life preserver, okay, you're not impelled. Help them out. They're not entitled to your money. This was the underlying theme with everything when this kicked off back in April. These companies, man, they're not entitled to your money. There was a point in time where business had to work for their customers. Hell, McDonald's used to have an old slogan before it used to be, stop stealing all of our stuff, okay, and stop asking for a higher minimum wage because you're going to get replaced by a robot that's not going to ask for dick. They used to say, and they used to stand by the slogan, the customer is always right. And if the customer is pissed off with the company or the product itself, you're not entitled. You're not entitled to their money. They have to earn your dollar. And that's what a lot of independent breweries, that's what a lot of alternative companies are doing in the wake of this boycott. And hell, they have even been reminded that that's the way that you need to move. This whole corporatism, a lot of it kicked off, or a lot of it got even more ingrained during 2020, where everybody was shut down and there was a lot of government money infused, and everybody's poor ideas that would have failed in a regular market ended up getting bolstered for a few extra years, clouding everybody's perception of what the market actually is. And now that we're a few years removed from that stuff, now the picture and the landscape is starting to become more clear. And we're starting to see certain industries, certain businesses, certain products start to heal in general. So yes, I do agree with Kid Rock. They did get the message. They haven't learned from it, though. They're just out there throwing around a whole bunch of money. They still haven't given a formal apology or, hell, even an explanation to their former customers. Would it help? It's so far gone at this point in time where it's just Bud Light is going to have to put so much time between this controversy and what they end up doing in the future. Okay, that's the only thing that they're going to have to do at this point. And we don't even know what they've even done in the long term. What we've seen with the over the summer marketing campaign, it's just, they just went and switched their targets. They went from, you're supporting the erasure of women. And it's like, no. We just thought a tranny would end up boosting our, appreciation from some of our funders. But is that what you guys are going to take away from that one? Oh, okay, cool. But then nobody was as inflamed when Miller Lite at the same time had another unearthed commercial come out of them just directly hating on the audience that would normally be consuming the product. And then it's just, right. The only way that things change is when women are most affected. Oh, okay, cool. So that's what we're going to do with that. Okay, cool. And that's why this boycott ended up going on for as long as it did. But yeah, Kid Rock will go on and say down here, I'm a Christian, I'm a God-fearing man, I'm a Christian, I believe in forgiveness. Exactly. They just have to do something worthy of forgiveness. Just like my money, no company, no person is entitled to my emotions, my forgiveness. You get my apathy. Unless, of course, you elicit any sort of positive emotion from me. That's just the way shit works. I would say give up beer in general. Conservatives are a fickle bunch, and what they want to boycott and what they want to take a stance against is always just so funny. And somebody who I find to be completely and totally insufferable, Megyn Kelly. What does she want to go ahead and boycott? Because she was one of those people that was all flippy-floppy when it comes to boycotts and having goofy-ass takes during all of this stuff, attacking and then supporting Joe Rogan and then also wanting to go against other aspects. She's just a fucking clout chaser. I have no idea why anybody takes her seriously, but I hope that people will start to wake up, especially with this upcoming election cycle, because, well, she's really making herself look like quite the fucking clown in some of her dust-ups with Trump, but she's out here calling for the boycott of Taylor Swift after she attends a Gaza fundraiser comedy show. Interesting is she goes to a fundraiser for kids that are innocently getting bombed out of their homes and hospitals, but that's worthy of boycotting somebody over. Listen, you are never, okay, this old bitch, she is never, ever, ever going to end up breaking into that echo chamber that Swifties reside in, okay? There's actually a couple of videos that I have in the can in regards to that phenomenon right now, because I find that it's very interesting, and there's a lot of lessons that you can learn from this, but as of course we've illustrated numerous times, Republic cucks, trad cucks, they're never going to fucking learn from any of this stuff, man. They are just simply going to continue to preach to their converted. They're never going to break into other avenues. Every Megyn Kelly fan is already pissed off at Taylor Swift for, I don't know, ruining their experience in the NFL. Okay, because she endorsed Biden in 2020. But in actuality, you're just making yourself look like a petulant asshole. Kind of like with Kid Rock when you were the loudest voice in the room when it comes to throwing out all of your Bud Light, putting it on a picnic table and blowing it up with whatever, leftover C4 you have, which actually sounds like a whole hell of a lot of fun. But instead of sticking to your principles, and then you can just go ahead and turn around and go, our greatest ally is being affected, or I'm a God-fearing man, and I know about forgiveness. They will be just as flighty, just as vacuous as the other side of the aisle that they so vociferously like to criticize. Oh well, that's why I don't take talking heads or celebrities seriously. Harkens back to an old Alice Cooper quote, in fact, one of the sharpest men in all of, not just all of music, but in general. If you're looking for your political advice from a rock star, well, the world is in a much tougher place than you realize, and your politicians might not end up be who they claim to be. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.